through some, well, and all three of these people had very different leadership styles. Martin Luther King Jr. was a charismatic speaker, got everybody rallied up. He was very effective in what he did. Chavez did more of the behind the scenes, the quiet, organized, let's get it done. And then Rosa Parks, I don't know that she sat out intending to be a leader. From what I understand, she sat down because she was tired. And so, but she took a stand and she became a leader. And so some of us, some of you, that's your leadership style, and that's okay. You don't intend to be a leader, but you are by being in this building and by having the role that you have. But they were also all very similar because they all were very nonviolent and they were all fighting for social change. So all three of those stories are very different, which is how this room in here is represented, but they all had the same, in different ways, same cause. The social changes they were fighting for were different, but they were all still fighting for social change. So a couple of good quotes that they have, and again, I hate to be the person who just reads the slides, but some of them, if you don't, you mess it up. So the top quote says, "The true measure of leadership is influence, nothing more and nothing less." And think about how much influence you have on kids every single day. Sometimes way more than you want, but every day. Leadership is the ability to increase productivity for your organization. And Anthony Muhammad is one of the people that was referenced a lot in his things. He is one of the people that works with the PLC group that came and did this. John Maxwell is, I believe, just a leadership type of author. He has several leadership books. I'm sure he has a different job too, but he has many books on leadership. And then providing the resource and support that enable people to succeed at what they are being asked to do. And I think that's our goal for all of our kids. And Richard DeFore is the guiding force behind the PLCs and the company of that learning tree. I don't know what I have to say next to this one has already been said. So Marzano, and I know that to some of you guys, his name kind of makes you cringe. If we were doing if the evaluations were fully open and we could grade you guys like we were supposed to be able to grade you, it would not make you cringe so much to see his name. He does a lot of really good things. If you've ever been to a workshop to hear him present, he purposely does things to keep himself in a classroom setting. He goes back and interacts and engages, and it's never exactly the same as when you're the teacher every day, but he does stuff to keep himself engaged in schools and in classrooms. So he's not just this pie in the sky, let me crunch the numbers person. But he does somehow crunch the numbers in ways that would push me over the edge. Even being a math person, the number crunching that he does hurts my head a little bit. But it says that school leadership has a substantial effect on student achievement and provides guidance for experienced and aspiring administrators alike. I want you guys, because these Marzano slides, when it was presented to us, it was presented more as obviously the administrators and how important our role is. Your role as the teacher leaders in the building is just as important, probably more important. Because if you guys aren't bought in to what we're doing, it's not going to work. So even though this says administrators in a couple of the places, again, remember at the school leadership level as you all being in the classrooms doing what you do every day. So the next one says that leadership for change is most effective when carried out by a small group of educators with the principal functioning as a strong, cohesive force. Honestly, I feel like this is probably an area where we're a little bit weak because you all have great ideas and then you hand them over. and then our plates are scrambling and balancing, and things don't happen, and you're like, what happened to that great idea? We can't implement everything. And this is gonna come up again a little bit later. This is just the planting of the seed. But it's always, and I've said this since I started here, a lot of the things that we do need to be run by you guys. They have to be driven by the teachers. Okay, so as a leadership team, you teachers must operate in a way to provide strong guidance while demonstrating respect for those not on the team. In your classroom, the little knucklehead that's not coming on, you still have to be respectful of them. And we have to remember that when we're dealing with the adults too. It's a weird thing. I think for a lot of us, it's a lot easier to deal with the kids that are not behaving than necessarily the adults that are not behaving. It just is. That's why we became teachers. And so, but we've got to remember to give the adults the same respect that we give the kids that need to be reminded 10 times to do different things. And then, well, this one and the next one go together, so I'm going to go ahead and flip to the next one. I didn't realize till late last night that the quote was the same on those two slides at the top. So it says, effective leadership for change is characterized by specific behaviors that enhance interpersonal relationships. These key behaviors are associated with optimism, honesty, and consideration. So those are the three big things: optimism, honesty, and consideration. And I think on our best day, we all have those. But sometimes we need to pull them back out on our frustrating days. So. Okay, so we have focused on so many different types of teams within our buildings: our PLC teams, our elective teams, our core teams, our attendance team, our leadership team, our just principals team, our principals and counselors team. I feel like we have your departments, and then even within your departments, your subgroups within your departments. We have teamed ourselves to death, and I feel like we have forgotten one of the main things. So, we're going to